The Stratford Town Council to order. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for attending. I'd like to welcome also everyone that's watching us online. I understand, Wendy, that it's being streamed as well. Yeah, so welcome, everyone. So our first thing I'd like to do is acknowledge the land upon which we gather as the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people of this territory, past, present, and future. Second item on the agenda is declaration of a conflict of interest. If anyone around the table has a conflict of interest on any of the items that we're going to be discussing here tonight, please declare so now. If not, we'll go to item number 3, approval of the agenda. So I'll ask if everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda, if there are any items to be added or deleted or any of the order to be changed. If not, I'll ask for a motion for approval.
I'll move that, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, and seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded, motion carried. Okay, the minutes of our special council meeting of July 15th, 2021 are in your package, as well as the regular minutes of the regular monthly meeting of August 11th, 2021. So does anyone see any changes, additions, deletions, or revisions that's required for those minutes? Everything correct in those minutes? If so, I'd ask for a motion for approval of those minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. Seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Anyone notice anything in the minutes that needs changing? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried. Okay, is there anything in the minutes that we will not be discussing tonight that anyone would like to follow up on? Jeremy, anything that you noticed that we need to follow up on? No? Okay, anyone else? Okay, we'll move on to item number 6, presentations from the floor. I should mention before we go to that our Chief Administrative Officer, Robert Hughes, is not able to be here tonight. So anyway, he won't be here for several reasons, but anyway, he's not able to get here. Jeremy Crosby, will be our acting Chief Administrative Officer for the meeting tonight. Are there any presentations from the floor, Jeremy? Okay. My report is next. That is in your package, and I'll just hit on a couple of highlights. I guess the big highlight is the announcement this morning by the Gray Group, excuse me, of close to $1 billion in investment in Stratford over the next 20 years, and the addition of close to 300,000 square feet of commercial space. I believe it's 2,600, over 2,600 residential units, and building a real downtown, which they've been really, the Gray Group has been great to work with so far. We've asked for we've had several meetings with them, and we've raised issues, and they've addressed the issues. So it's a good-looking plan. I guess we have a public meeting on September 14th at, I believe it's 6 o'clock, 6 till 8, something like that.
September 14th at the golf course.
14th,
from
September
6 to
14th.
8.
Yeah.
And it's not a public meeting, it's more of like an open house style.
Open house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
put on by the Gray Group.
And there'll be more on that from the Gray Group in terms of an announcement later, I guess. So some of the things that the highlights of my report, as well as the announcement this afternoon, which I was really pleased to attend, was the presentation of the climate change impact on Stratford, completed by our UPI intern, and I think that's just his first name, Abhishek. What's his full name? Do you have it? Anyway, his first name's Abhishek. He's a really excellent intern, did a great job for us. and provided us with lots of data and analysis regarding the impact of climate change on Stratford. We met with a developer, Councillor Burridge and I met with, and Planning Officer Blaine met with a developer to talk about a possible affordable housing project. And was also pleased to meet with the SWITCH program leaders and also the public presentation of the SWITCH program, which allows homeowners to make positive changes to their properties, which will save energy and help the environment. Yeah, the community campus master plan draft. We had a discussion with the consultant on that and discussed it, different options for the design of the community campus with the Community Campus Implementation Committee. Yeah, Stuff a Bus, that was a lot of fun. Was able to make a contribution on behalf of the town to the Stuff a Bus initiative by Ocean 100 to raise money and money and food for the food bank. Yeah, that's my report. Any questions on my report? If not, we'll move to Chief Administrative Officer report. And I guess, are you prepared to provide that report tonight, Jeremy?
The report is in your package, but I'll certainly answer any questions if you have any questions on the report.
Okay. I guess the one thing that's coming up is the Capital Area Mayor's meeting. I guess that Robert's done some work in preparation for that, put the agenda together.
I think he's looked at capital budget items and some other items that are going to be presented at that meeting. Yep.
Yeah. Put in our submission for the a CMHC funding program.
Yes.
For housing, the housing study.
Looked at that, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he's been having ongoing, and you're probably part of that too, with the Deputy Minister of Transportation in the provincial government about our infrastructure funding requests.
Yeah, they had discussions about our funding application for the community campus and other applications we had in and where they're at with those applications and, you know, if there's any changes or anything we had to make to accommodate that funding application. So I think they had some positive conversations.
When do you think we'll hear that, Jim?
Well, with the election going on right now, it won't be till after the election, so, you know, it's hard to say, but it'll be several months before we know, and you have to have the results of the election before they're able to release that information. They don't release any funding opportunities during the election. So, but at least they're looking at the applications, which is a good thing.
This is provincial, right?
Well, it's provincial, but it's federal funding, right? So, yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments regarding the CAO report?
Just a little update on the.
Right, what's the fried factor? What's that, a tour of the fry factor?
Just Robert and I met with this individual. He's interested in opportunities for business in Stratford, so that was
Okay.
what that was about.
Yeah, okay, it's not one of the street vendors, it's an actual,
Oh, no, it's a manufacturing facility that
okay,
was interested in building
Okay.
another one in Stratford.
good, thank you.
So with the expansion of our business park, there's going to be opportunities for entrepreneurs to locate in Stratford again, because right now our business park is sold out, but with the addition of the new land that we purchased, that will provide those opportunities now. Any other questions? Thanks very much, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll go to item number 9, safety services. I'll ask the Chair of the Safety Services Committee, Councillor Derek Smith, to give his report.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Just before you start, I neglected to welcome Corporal Lutley to our meeting tonight. Thank you very much for attending, Corporal. Anyway, sorry for the interruption.
Before I start my reports tonight, I want to thank the following persons who helped with the opening of our area schools yesterday. MLA James Ellsworth for having the new crossing lights systems put in place. Members of the town council and greeting the parents and students back to school and teaching them all about the new lighting system. Jeremy Crosby for setting up this important project. Town staff for having the crossing flags and other items in place. Also, the Rcmp for both being on site and in the area. And again, I want to thank everybody on behalf of the residents of Stratford and myself. Job well done. Moving on to my reports. No safety services meeting last month. There will be one in September. We have enough items now and some of great importance that we will be going ahead with the meeting in September. Streetlight reports, we've had nothing there, Jeremy, on streetlights this month?
The only thing we have is a request for decision on a property in Strawberry Hill that's looking to get a lantern-style light relocated that we will be bringing to the meeting here in September, but we'll have to have further discussion about that.
Yeah, okay. Right then, we'll move on to the Rcmp report. This Stratford Mayor's Report, August 2021. A few things I want to point out. Number one, total sought tickets for the month was 19. We had 9 motor vehicle accidents. I noticed we had one on Barclay Avenue, Councillor McDonald. That was at the intersection, I believe. In regards to warning tickets, there were 13 issued. Mental Health Act, which is on page 2, near the bottom. There were 6 calls received under the Mental Health Act. I'd just like to point that out because the Mental Health Act is quite a lengthy investigation sometimes for the police. Sometimes they're quick, but sometimes they are lengthy, and the people have to be looked after. So 6 is quite a bit. On page 3, Quarantine Act, we had 18 quarantine patrols made with compliance. Further down under Other, members may patrol in regards to Aeronautic Act believed that there was a drone flying outside of a window. Can you fill us in a little bit? Is there a problem with drones now with them flying around houses and stuff, or that's a one-off?
No, we're getting actually more and more calls about drones in subdivisions, in people's backyards and so forth, and it's such a new thing that people don't know what the rules and regulation and laws are around drones, so they're calling, basically looking for information and seeing if people are actually committing offenses and doing these things, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And us being close to the airport, like we are, drones are against the law for flying drones so close to an airport sometimes, right? What's the distance?
You're not supposed to fly a drone within 5 kilometers of an airport.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think
Okay.
it's 2 kilometers from anywhere where there's a helipad and 5 kilometers from any airports. There's other areas where they're not supposed to be flown as well, but the basic rules of a drone is they're not supposed to fly over 400 feet, and the drone operator is actually not supposed to, they're always supposed to maintain visual contact with the drone at all time.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so it's an issue. All right, on page 4, under common police activities, there were 64 NSC checks for the month of August. 20 false alarms. I have talked to Corporal on that, and it just seems to be people opening up the stores and not familiar with the alarm systems and probably setting them off. The last item, assistance to the general public. There were 7 requests for assistance from public and organizations, and they can vary from a whole length of things. There's nothing really outstanding on that, is there, Corporal? There was nothing there? All right. In regards to your statistics sheet, I believe it has improved. Does anybody have any questions on the statistics sheets? It's back to where we would like to see it? Okay. And again, it's a pretty well standardized month for the policing in this town, done by the RCMP. So we'll open the floor for any questions. Anybody has? All right.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to ditto your comments about, you know, the RCMP presence yesterday and the first day of school. That was great.
I'd like to just say that we're looking at maintaining that throughout the entire school year as well. Obviously, we won't have as many officers as we did yesterday. I asked for a little bit extra yesterday being the first day of school, just to show some extra visibility and so forth. But my members know that it is a priority throughout the entire school year to maintain visibility, traffic enforcement and so forth throughout the school zones, and just make sure people know that we're out and about, so.
Thank you.
I'd also like to add my thanks, because I think that visibility is very important in terms of people following the rules of the road and that sort of thing, because they don't know when they're going to run into you guys. So it's the visibility is very much appreciated. Thank you.
So we have no more questions to the RCMP.
Good, thank you.
We're done. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Under D, Humane Society report. There were 21 patrols in the month of August, and there was nothing outstanding on Humane Society report. Okay, we'll do that one. Transit. Very exciting time for transit within the town of Stratford. First of all, we'll go over the report that everybody got. The ridership is on per average. Everything else, we have a memo here from Transit. And they are basically saying that the 21 season for this month, the regular passenger fare was $2,773. For the month of August 2020, last year, there was $1,941. This is an increase of 43% from the previous month from a year ago. We're very important that our numbers are going back up. For 2021, we have a total ridership of 18,047 compared to 17,637 in 2020, and this is an increase of 2%. Now, that might seem to be okay, but considering the pandemic we came through, these are very good numbers for us. There were 41 passenger fares on the Stratford routes related to the high school projects. So in other words, high school students are now using the bus to get in back and forth to school, which is also a nice thing to see. The next thing we're going to talk about is our new pilot project. There's going to be public meetings starting tomorrow night and a follow-up meeting within a week. This is to announce that the transit system is going to be expanding within the town, but it is a new system compared to the bus routes. The system going to be used is going to be, you're going to call a driver, they're going to pick you up and take you to a bus stop within the town of Stratford. It's probably going to be at the Stratford Library, where you can hook into the transit system, they use the transit system. There's a small minimum fee that you have to pay for this service, but it's going to be put in place, especially in the Ward 3 area, where it's been neglected for many years. And Deputy Mayor Clough and Councillor Gallant has been lobbying for many years to have this put in place. I must say, this is a pilot project. It's only on for a few months, so we want to get the people notified and using it as much as possible. So again, tomorrow night, go on our website. If you haven't registered, please do so. Wendy, it'll be live streamed, I take it? No, it won't be live streamed, so please attend the meeting to find out if this suits you.
Is that 7, tomorrow night? 6:30. 6:30?
Yeah.
Town hall, right?
Emergency service building, yeah. So,
Will the information be available through social media and through our regular communication channels?
We've been promoting it for about 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's in town talk as well.
Great.
all right then. So that's very important information. It's great to see it coming. I think it's a project worthwhile. We have 2 smaller buses coming online pretty soon to service the area, so it's hopefully this will help transit get a foothold, a bigger foothold within the town of Stratford. Questions?
No, it's great news from Ward 3 and my counterpart here, Councillor Clow, and we worked hard and great support around the table, and Mary and everybody acknowledged Jeremy, and everybody acknowledged that the problem that Ward 3 had with no bus service, so we're going to hope this pilot project works very, very well. And I encourage all residents of Ward 3 to get out and support this, because we want to continue. It's a 3-month pilot and starts the first, September 20th, I think. It's Monday morning is the first day of using it. So it's great news for town of Stratford and the residents of Ward 3.
And also I wanted to state that this is a pilot project. This will dictate whether or not Ward 3 can support this so we can expand it to the whole town. So this is a pilot project for a certain area, but if it works out good, we can expand this to the whole area of Stratford. So little places where are not serviced by the bus, we can get that service in there for them. All right, so everybody's going to need transit, especially with the recent announcements.
Also, Councillor, there's an app that, I guess the education part's tomorrow night and next, so the app,
Yeah.
so they use the app, so it's pretty, people are going to be here, help people
Yeah.
instruct to use the app, so.
It's very
So-
reasonably priced, I must say. It's very reasonably priced. But please get out, get information, and start using it because we need the numbers. Okay, any more questions in transit? All right. Move on to F, Crossroads Fire Department. Make an announcement. It has been announced that the fire chief and his deputy will be resigning at the end of this year. This is due to, they're getting to the age where they want a little more time off, so they have decided to step away from the fire services, and they have given plenty of notice, 3 months, so we can start the process to find a new fire chief or the deputy. So that will be ongoing, discussed with the fire board. The numbers are in front of you. It's a pretty standardized month. We had 12 calls in the month of August, 84 for the total of the year, which is very good, I believe. Much fire, town hall, armed stock and vehicle. Is there anything outstanding there, Kevin, that you want to point out, or just standardized calls?
115 calls in total.
115, yes.
84 within Stratford.
Yes, yes. And there was one boating thing there. Was that in our area, or?
It was in the harbor. There's been a couple of boating things this year.
Okay.
Boat in distress, and there was a Sea-Doo, a gentleman in Sea-Doo in distress earlier in the year.
Okay, so you guys look after that for us, too?
In mutual aid with
Yeah.
Sharp. Yeah.
Well, okay, good, thank you. Questions on the fire department? Okay. Your worship, that's my report.
Thank you for your report, Councillor Smith. At this time, I'd like to welcome MLA Michelle Beaton. Welcome, Michelle. Thanks for joining us.
I look forward to her again on that bus now next Monday, Ward 3.
Yeah, I would encourage everyone as well that lives in those underserved areas that are going to be served by the pilot project to get out and support. And you know, if you need to go to Charlottetown, think about leaving your car and jumping on the bus.
Yeah.
Using the app to access the bus. Okay, if there's no other questions on Safety Services report, we'll move on to item number 10, Recreation, Culture and Events. And I'll ask Chair of that committee, Councillor Steve Gallant, to give his report.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's September, and we had a great summer, busy summer, recreation, sports, with the kids and so on. Our committee meetings were all canceled, and recreation, cultural events, and arts and culture. The events committee shall resume meetings in September. The fall, down in the arts and culture, Tricia McNeil Baldwin will be providing the Stratford Adult Visual Art Program, and we're providing the dance movement enrichment program for grade 6 students at the Stratford Elementary School as part of the Artist in Residence program. The 30 Indigenous musical instruments acquired from the Lennox Island Cultural Center artisans have been received and delivered to Stratford Elementary School for fall school program. Stratford Elementary has program planned for the Indigenous musical instruments as part of the grade 4 music curriculum. The fall art programs are set to begin in October. The art club, the brush stop preschool story time, intermediate watercolor painting class, beginner watercolor painting class, a drawing class, or youth art class, and so on. Our Stratford Youth Center and Counselor are up and going. Youth Center Leadership Committee is made up of youth members in grades 7 to 10. This committee is the youth council, but available for youth at a younger age. The group meets every 2 weeks and will also organize different fundraiser and events. The Youth Center this year will be starting a new program in September called the Youth Engagement Team. This group will provide young people ages 18 to 25 years an opportunity to still be involved with the Youth Center and the community. The YET program is called. We'll meet once a month to discuss the various volunteer activities available with the Youth Center in town of Stratford. There are already 9 young adults that have expressed interest in joining this program. Of course, the Stratford Youth Center newspaper club will be up and running. Our Youth Center peer mentor program will be up and going from grades 9 to 12. This year, the events planning for the Fall Fest is well underway as the Nature Festival returns after 1 year COVID induced hiatus. Fall Fest will operate September 24th to 26th at Fullan's Creek Conservation Park and Robert Cotton Park. A preliminary itinerary for the event includes soft lunch on Friday, September 4th, a 1 kilometer lighted trail for the public to enjoy, a market tent to promote local businesses, a fun fair for the Youth Center fundraiser, a 1 kilometer trail lit up, performers along the trail, dancers, musicians, and magicians. And also down at Fullan's Creek Conservation Park, the trail tours, the Axis, Falcony PEI, Parasport PEI, Art Tent, Star Bale sculptures, and opening of the natural playground there. Also, our programs are picking up in September. Our fall recreation programs are slated to begin in December with the registry currently open for all programs include pickleball, 6 sessions, co-ed volleyball, and co-ed badminton, and skills and drills at the Pollen Sports Center. So that's be on Saturday mornings, Jeremy, your skills and drills. And then when's that start? Oh. It usually gets filled up pretty quick.
It'll start mid to late October.
Okay, thank you. Yep. And also special mentions to our sport teams, Stratford. Congratulations to all provincial champions, our under-12 AA softball Steelers, our under-11 AAA Eastern Express baseball team, under-13 AAA Eastern Express baseball team, under-15 A Stratford Athletics, under-13 Premier Girls Soccer, under-13 Premier Girls Soccer, Stratford Senior Women's Premier Soccer, and under-18 Hillsborough United Boys Premier Soccer. And also special mention, congratulations to the Shepherd family, who are from Stratford, for winning the 62 running of the Guardian Gold Cup and Saucer. Patrick Shepherd is trained, and brother Robert drove smoothly to a decisive victory in the prestigious Canadian harness race. The Shepherd family have been long-time Stratford residents and harness race owners and trainers and drivers. So it's good to Patrick and Robert. I know them. And it was great to see them win that, come down and win that race. And especially local boys from Stratford. It was great. But anyways.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Any questions? Recreation?
I just noticed under the last page on the programs that Nimrod's supplied ice cream cones for the kids. So I want to thank them for stepping up and providing ice cream cones for the kids. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Councillor Gallant, the announcement today by the Gray Group certainly puts on display where this town is likely going to be headed in the next decade or two. The population is going to increase significantly. We're currently strapped in regard to our rec programs and facilities and whatnot. So the announcement today, in the context of our rec department, should put more pressure on us and the community to provide facilities for our kids sooner than later. So, and that's all tied into the community campus as well. But I think that announcement today, and I've been saying it, and we all know it, that we are strapped as far as where we're at with the ability to facilitate all of our children in regard to the various sports that they play. But I think that the announcement today puts us in a position where it would become dire. So we should, as a group, really focus on that here in starting forthwith to whether it be how we're going to develop the community campus, or, and of course the rink or that facility should it should happen regardless of the Gray's announcement. But in light of that, we should really start to focus forthwith on getting some movement in regard to facilities.
I totally agree, Councillor McDougall, I totally agree.
I think that's a very important point. I think that's a well-made point. The fact that you can't add population without adding infrastructure, with putting the necessary infrastructure in place to provide the programs and services that these new people and new businesses require. So you need the recreational infrastructure, you need the educational infrastructure, you need the medical infrastructure, you need all aspects, transportation, and I think the transportation is being considered, but I think recreational infrastructure is really badly needed, and we need to look at that with our partners to get that in place as soon as possible, because it's not acceptable for our young people and adults to have to go to other communities to follow their pursuits, whether it be football or basketball or baseball or soccer or whatever it is, hockey. It really should be in our community. So I'm going to work as hard as I can, and I know we're all going to work to really try to make that happen but it can't happen without our funding partners also recognizing the importance of this. So we need to work together to get that put in place as soon as possible. Any other questions on the recreation culture or comments on the recreation culture and events report?
You want to talk about summer, how everything went, general idea for programs?
No, I think the summer programs, whether they be soccer, baseball, softball, all those sporting groups had positive summers. We ran into a little situation in the month of July where weather impacted our programming, but I think we were able to reroute some teams and games and practices and that sort of thing, and it certainly worked out. I think we mentioned it here before on several occasions. Yes, we are somewhat, we're handcuffed a little bit in terms of our programming and the ability to expand. All the programs are seeing an increase in the registration numbers. So I think going forward, continuing planning to provide facilities in our community is very important. But I think we're doing okay now, but I think we could expand. One thing I will mention is that last year in the fall and winter, we weren't able to get into the two schools because of the COVID situation. We're now working with both of the schools to get back in there, which will allow expanding programming for basketball, for cricket, for pickleball, for whatever we can offer here in our own gym, because it is essentially programmed from now 6:30 in the morning and right until 9 o'clock at night. So we're somewhat limited, but we're doing our best with what we have.
Councillor Gallant, Jeremy, Were any registrations, did any registrations have to be capped at all this year? Or do you expect any to be have to cap here in the fall?
Well, we place certain capacities on all our programs, indoor programs, just because of the COVID restrictions are still in place. Plus, you know, pickleball is at 32, volleyball is at 24, and it's kind of more centered around the opportunity to play versus sitting out type thing. We don't see any real concerns. We're going to be at capacity in all of our programs, and that's a good thing. And if we're able to expand into the schools in the evenings and weekends, then we'll be able to offer more programs that we have somewhat tabled right now.
Okay.
I did get a few calls recently on the lights being on all night at the ball field there. I know they're on timers, and it's just probably just a little...
Yeah, so all the ball games that are our program, sometimes we haven't been notified as games are being canceled or changed, but we're working with them now that the season is at the tail end of it in terms of, but it's been good. We have residents who have my cell phone number or have Rachel's cell phone number. They contact us and we can just put it off simply by our phone.
Yeah. I did get a couple calls.
Yep.
I just can concur with the staff, Jeremy and Rachel and Tanya and so on, and Dwayne, a great, we're lucky to have Jeremy with us, and some of these problems, he worked them out personally himself, and with the increase we have now and the campus itself, with the securing the land and the school, and then all of a sudden the Grey Group popping up here, and the active trays across the bridge and the waterfront. I mean, we got a lot of oars in the water here, so it shows that we're growing and shows that everybody around the table it's great work, and like we see, we need our support from provincial governments and the federal governments and so on, and hopefully our residents too. It's not a bad problem to have. I mean, we're just looking at that Grey plan yesterday. I go, whoa, am I going to be old enough to see this? You know, you want to be. You're younger, and so but it's a great plan, and it's just going to put us on the map. And like you say, Your Worship, the registrations and sports and recreation and sports, mental health, and everything else is great for the town and so on. So it's a win-win-win for us, and especially the building itself and two local. With Mr. Trevor Jackson and Corey Gray, local kids from the community, or local men from the community now. It's nice to, and we're fortunate enough to have that. And other builders have people from outside the community, or not even from the province. These two gentlemen are from the community, and we're pretty fortunate to have that. And you know, it's just a win-win for us right here.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Not, we'll move on to next item number 11. Thank you for your report, Councillor Gallant. We'll now move on to item number 11, and I'll ask the Chair of the Finance and Technology Committee, Councillor Gail McDonald, to give her report.
Thank you, Your Worship. So all the reports are in your package there. We had a meeting in July. The Finance and Technology Committee met. We did not meet in August. We gave them the month of August off for summer vacation. So we had a very interesting speaker, and Kent Dean brought the committee up to date with what exactly the town is doing with regards to everything to do with IT, with network security, phishing emails, and open Wi-Fi requests from residents. Talked about ransomware, security audits. So anyway, it was a bit of an eye-opener, and we were glad that he was able to bring this information to the committee. Anyway, we brought up to date with all the donations, the capital projects update, and the ISIP funding. So at that time, there was no ISIP funding had come through yet, and as I understand, everything's on a hold while the federal election is in place. So the department, there are a few things that they've been working on the last month. The auditors are completing now the draft statements, and we will have them to review at the September Finance Committee meeting. Staff is reviewing the water supply and sewer treatment charges for new developments. And they're also reviewing how to find some information on utility customers to determine consumption information for single and multifamily homes, and as well as commercial customers. They met to discuss GIS items that are needed to move forward on updating the mapping in Town Suite. A new town phone system has been installed. They met with Town Suite to discuss implementation of the new modules for 311 and mapping. The Switch PACE program has started, so that department is working closely with Maddie and PACE on the submissions. Staff is also working on revamping the long-range forecast model. And they met with the insurance company on a renewal package from Heineman's. And staff is also working on revamping a timesheet summary spreadsheet. So they've had a busy summer, all in all. Also, the income statements for the town and the utility are in your package. Generally speaking, revenue is up 13% for the month to date, and expenses are down 10%. So overall, the town is in good condition financially at the moment. Under utility, there was kind of a line item that I questioned there, $354,684 under miscellaneous revenue for utility. So Kim explained that that's a result of donated capital revenue for the water and sewer lines that are in the new phase of the Clearview State Subdivision, and also received monies for some of our assets at the treatment plant site. So that explains that $354,000 that we weren't expecting. So revenue for the utility is up about 17.9%, mostly because of that, and expenses are currently down 6%. That's my report, Your Worship. If we have any questions, myself or Kim will be able to handle it.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions here. In regards to the next town election, is that voting online going ahead? Did all the communities agree to that?
Who would answer? Jeremy? See if we get an answer there for you.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, so we're going ahead with that. Kim, is there cost to this? Like, is it going to be budgeted, or do we know how much it's going to be?
I think during the budget for this year, I think we knew that we were looking at the online option, so I'm pretty sure we had built a little bit more into our reserve for the upcoming year, but I will have to double check and see if the cost came in around where they're thinking for the online option.
Okay, so that's for next year. In regards to the second paragraph there, the staff is reviewing the water supply and treatment charges for new development. Basically, that's on the request of a developer, or just we're just looking at revamping?
It's just to do with, we've had it as part of our fees and bylaws for a number of years. The $1,500 that we collect, the $900 for sewer, $600 for water for single-family dwelling lots. But usually that's paid before they get their subdivision approval, so we had been in discussion with changing it to the development permit timeframe. So it's just discussions around that and how it'll work for multifamily homes, and that's what
so
we're working on.
it's just a review is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor McDonald, in the town of Stratford revenue, the $500,000 that came in, is that the switch program money?
I would say yes. Let me see.
It's under other
Revenue.
grant.
Under, which one?
Just the revenue, the town of Stratford revenue, the other grant. It just looks like an unexpected grant came in. It must be the switch.
No, it's not the switch programs. We don't budget for our government grants, the ISEP funding that we would have got from previous year's projects. So as we submit claims, then the funding comes in and we just put it under other grants. So we would have gotten some.
So that's
some of our-
for what?
So it'd be like Pondside, the Fullerton's washroom project, Pondside, like those type of projects that we would have had in the past for ISEP funding.
So that we've completed already, but the grant money is just coming in now?
You don't get the money until the
Till you complete?
invoices have been
Okay.
received and checks have been
Okay, all right, okay.
cashed. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed that the switch program expenses is listed under general government there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Kim. Oh, that's my report, Your Worship.
Thank you. No other comments or questions? Okay. Thank you for your report, Councillor McDonald. We'll now move on to Planning, Development, and Heritage. And I'll ask the chair of that committee, Councillor Jill Burridge, to give her report.
I just have an email I got to bring up here. Sorry, folks. I was lost in the financial statements.
No, that's okay. Lots of time.
We didn't have a meeting this month. We didn't have any applications or anything in that had to come to planning board, so we actually didn't have a meeting. But Kevin just put together a few notes of what they've been working on and what's been going through the planning, development and heritage files here lately. So the Red Meadows IRAC appeal, the submission is due this Friday, so they're pretty busy getting their documentation together for that. The town solicitor is currently reviewing all the relative information submitted to them by the town prior to the deadline. Walking in here tonight, you would have saw the Stratford Honor Roll project with the boots lining up to the War Memorial. So they've all been installed. We're not doing a formal unveiling or launch for that. We just figured that is more fitting rolling into Remembrance Day, but you can see them up there now, and they're pretty fantastic. Everyone's pretty happy with them. I guess I'll continue on. I'll skip over the development numbers are in your packages. In 2021, there's been 191 permits applied for. Last year, we were sitting at 180 at this time. We had a casual staff person complete their work term last Friday, so working again a little understaffed. And they're trying to keep their processing time in check, but being understaffed, they're going to do the best they can. Inspections are very steady, and they're hoping to secure a contract with a local company to help us out with that. Subdivisions, Clearview Estates Phase 3 is now formally approved, and permits are currently being issued. This is 23 single dwelling lots, and permits for 3 have been issued. The Gray Group subdivision off Bunbury Road is into construction and proposed to be completed by November. This is 43 lots with a total of 79 units. And we've been recently advised that 36 of the 43 lots are under contract to be sold, so they went really quick. The other one down on Rankin Drive is the Jackson Livingston subdivision we talk about, and that's into construction, also proposed to be completed later this fall, and this is 22 lots with a total of 38 units. Foxwood subdivision Phase 2 is another one, so that's the little cul-de-sac that they're building at the end of Windsor Drive, and there was, I believe, 2 lots on Cardiff as well. So they're beginning construction, and completion date's unknown, but that will be 8 single-family dwelling lots, 8 units, 8 lots, 8 units. And then, yeah, finally, it's been mentioned here a few times tonight, but the Gray Group in their release for the vision of the core area called the Crossroads. There's no formal applications or anything like that sitting right now, but planning will be looking. There will be some applications, I think, for some rezoning, and maybe they even mentioned building some new zones within our official plan to look at doing that, and we're going to work with the Gray Group to see what we think can happen there. Yeah, so that's an exciting development. It'll be interesting to see what the residents, how they palate it and what they think of it. It's going to be Stratford 2.0. It really is a crossroads for the community, so I'll be interested to see how this goes. Other than that, folks, the numbers for the building permits and stuff are in your packages. If you have any questions, fire away.
I understand it's going to be the Crossroads is going to have an open house at Fox Meadow. Give us the date and time again.
So, and I should clarify that. So there's no application sitting with the town right now on this. They kind of put out their concept, and they did their media launch today. And then they're going to have what they're calling people are saying public meeting, but in talking to Paula Hansen, it's more of an open house type setting, and it's put on by them. This isn't a town-sponsored event, but it is at Fox Meadows, September 14th, 6 to 8.
We don't know if we have to pre-register or not, eh? Just
Yeah, I'm sure they probably would ask you to register, but I'm sure if you go online somewhere, they'll have that information. I think they view it as something where they're going to have the storyboards out and the video running and people coming in, checking it out, ask questions, and then find their way out. And I think they expect to see traffic in and out through the evening.
if experience is anything in the past, every time there's an announcement, Stratford is well represented by the people here coming up and having a look at
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going on. So there's going to be a lot of people at that open house, I would think.
Yeah. So I think that's all being managed by Grey Group. And so,
Yeah, okay,
I'm
good.
sure there is a registration process.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Just a couple of things I'd like to, oh, sorry, you have something to say?
I see, Jill, the Bunbury subdivision is just around the corner from me. I see it's a multi-use, like it's single, doubles, and townhouses, right?
Yeah, mixture,
And,
yeah.
I know they made a comment at the meeting yesterday, the average price here in Stratford for single home is $570,000.
Yes.
So it's going to give an option for other people to move in this subdivision, like under that number, right, with the duplexes and the townhouses, so.
Yeah, it gives options to young families starting out,
Yep.
seniors looking to downsize.
Yep.
Yeah, it just gives people options
Yeah.
to live in Stratford. And I think a big point they mentioned was like to be able to age in Stratford, right? Like right from, to be able to carry your whole life through Stratford, right? I think that's a big piece. So to have those diverse housing options is key to be able to keep people here and bring people here.
Yep.
And I think with regard to that announcement, I think it's, everyone's really excited about it. It's a really positive thing for the town. One of the things that I think is, that, resonates with me is the fact that they've agreed for the most part to work within existing zoning. That's what the land was zoned for. It's zoned for commercial, it's zoned for mixed use, it's zoned for residential, and they're using that zoning for the most part. And I know there will be some rezoning requests because there's some need for some tweaking on some of the areas. But the other thing that's really important to me is that they've agreed that there will be adequate buffering or transitioning between established neighborhoods and new developments. So that's really important, the fact that there is a lot of consideration given to that you won't have commercial right up against R1, for example. There will be a transition. So I think that's really important. The environmental aspect, the fact that they've their track record so far with the town is very good. We've managed to save some old growth forest thanks to our sustainability coordinator, and we had discussions with Grey Group about their development, and they agreed to change it to save the old growth forest. So I think all those things, the wetlands, the protection of the wetlands, and the environmentally sensitive areas, I think that's very important. So I think all in all, fingers crossed that it is really positive for the town. I think it will be. Obviously, we've had some good discussions and to reach this point. So, but I too look forward to the meeting on and hearing what the residents have to say and what their perspectives are on this. The second thing I'd like to mention is that I think it's sort of the planning department, sort of like electricity. It functions and no one notices because it's always there and they always do such a good job. But I've had a couple of people mention to me that the service here in Stratford by the planning group in terms of turnaround of building permits and the service inspections and those sorts of things is second to none. I think we should be really proud of our planning department and kudos and thanks to Kevin and Jill and Councillor Burridge and everyone that's involved in planning because I think they do an excellent job. And I'd just like to publicly thank you all for that.
It's all Kevin. I'm just,
It's all the people behind me.
yeah, yeah, pass it along to everyone, Kevin, yeah.
I have one more question. In regards to the residential development, that's great to hear, and the lots being sold. What is the inquiries from the business people? Are they interested in opening up shops here in Stratford? Are we getting any kind of feedback here at all?
Well, I think based on as far as the Gray Group presentation today, he kind of mentioned that, and yesterday, that once you hit a milestone of 10,000, population of 10,000, then, your nationals start paying attention. So, and they work in lots of other areas in Moncton and Dieppe. So they have a lot of those relationships with those nationals, right? And I think they have a lot of relationships with private PEI businesses as well. But they're at a point where they're just in conceptual stage, right? They don't have space to sell at this point. So I think people will hear about what they're doing and get excited. But they, as far as like people signing on the dotted line,
No.
That'll come as the buildings are built, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Thank you.
And even Derek was talking to Trevor yesterday with the meeting there, and he said the permits up Bunbury Road there, like the contractors, like a contractor's gonna buy 5 units. That contractor can only buy 2 places there. So they got 3 or 4 different contractors in there. So that one same contractor's building the same unit all the time. So that's great,
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
positive development.
And one of the other things that I didn't mention in my remarks is that they've agreed to work with the town with regard to affordable housing and providing housing that's oriented to all income levels.
Yep.
And I think that's very important, that we want to be an inclusive community. We want to provide a place for everyone, and as Councillor Burridge mentioned, for people to age in place or to be able to live in their same community. Doesn't matter what their stage in life is, whether it's new families or young people,
exactly.
or people starting out, people that are established. So all of those things are going to be available within the town as a result of this new development. So I look forward to that as well.
Unless there's questions on the reports, I'm good. We'll move on to the next agenda item.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your report, Councillor Burridge. Now move on to infrastructure. Deputy Mayor Gary Clow. I'll ask for
Thank you, Your Worship.
report.
We didn't have a meeting in August, so we will be meeting this coming month. The infrastructure memo is in your package. I'll go over some of it. The wastewater delivery system, the contractor has returned to the site and has begun removal of the screener building and UV building. We anticipate the infilling of the lagoon cells and removal of remaining infrastructure to be completed by the end of September. And there is a piece of machinery there now, as you see, going around the perimeter, moving the old pipe and wiring that's in the ground there before they infill. The inflow and infiltration reduction strategy, inspection of manholes continue. A tender has been issued for the renewal of the segment of pipe on East River Drive and one on Clifton Road. The work is to be completed this fall. Sewer lift station upgrades. The tender for Phase 1 is being posted this week. This phase will include approximately 800 meters of 4 main installed along Kinlock Road. Kepic Road Multi-Use Trail, work is progressing well on the project and is estimated to be completed by the end of October. The SCADA system upgrade, Phase 2, Bellinger Electric Limited, will be on site this month to begin the upgrade work. Dry storage building, 2 proposals were received for the design of a 2,400 square foot pole barn structure to be located at the maintenance building site at 21 Hollis Avenue. Coles Associates have been awarded the work. Construction is anticipated to begin in November. The infrastructure staff has been busy maintaining fields, grooming trails, grass cutting, bylaw complaints, repairs and painting, inspections, and servicing of sewer lift stations, flushing of sanitary sewer mains. During the month of August, there were no major issues with the water distribution or wastewater collection system. That's my report, Your Worship. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you.
If there is, I'm sure Jeremy or Jeannie or myself, we could.
On the, Councillor Clow, on the Kepic Road multi-use trail, I'm just, and I haven't seen the design of it. I'm just looking for a picture of, like, is there a barrier? Or is it a separation, like a green separation between the path? Or is there a barrier? Or just, I guess,
Jean,
paint me
yeah.
a picture.
Yeah, Jeannie will do that for you.
Yeah.
There's a, excuse me, there will be a 2-meter median space from the edge of asphalt to the paved trail. So that will be, actually, it's going to be 1 meter of gravel off of the road and 1 meter of grass
Okay.
up against the trail.
And then the multi-use trail.
And then the, 3-meter trail.
And
Okay.
the width of that will be 8 feet?
Of
6
the
feet?
trail,
Yeah, the width of the
it's 10 feet.
asphalt?
The trail itself will be 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, no curb or anything like that. It's just a 2-meter separation from the road,
That's right.
which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So now there's movement on Lagoon, be getting filled in.
Yes, yeah.
And,
Sooner than later, hopefully. They're down there working now, and
Yeah.
they're removing all the old pipe in the ground and the electrical wiring, and
Yeah.
the buildings are gonna, 2 buildings will be removed, and then there's some more slush removed, and then they'll be filling it in. So it'll be done sooner than later, I guess,
Yeah.
within a month or 2.
If this lagoon was operational now with all the rain, would that be a major problem? It would be, Jeremy, Jeannie? With all the rain, like 60 millimeters?
With what we just experienced,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we would have had an issue there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great that we don't have
But
it now, right?
Exactly.
You know?
But with all that rain, everything went great going to Charlottetown.
It did.
No-
Yeah.
No issues.
That's just.
No
saying-
issues.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's, that's great. And the second year, I think the second year without the smell in the area, it's shopping and the SO and going to McDonald's, getting a coffee and so on. Bunbury Mall, it's great.
All the businesses in that area are more than happy right now.
Yeah.
If you talk to them.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great that
Yeah.
we had a 1 in 100-year storm, almost 130 millimeters of rain in 24 hours, and we didn't hear of any problems in Stratford
No.
at all.
No.
Nothing. So I think that's a credit to the infrastructure
Yes, yeah.
group and the design and the people that have put our infrastructure, our sewer and
Yeah.
water infrastructure in place. I think that's a real credit to them.
Yeah, and that's why, like I say, we're, Jeremy and Jeannie and all the infrastructure employees have to, they have to be commended for the work they do here. It's unreal. I mean, as you look here, the tenders that are going out, the engineering part, and it's just incredible. I think the town of Stratford and all departments are working, up and above normal and giving over 100%. So it's all good. It's all good stuff. Yeah.
We're blessed with a great staff, very
yeah.
professional,
Yeah.
hardworking,
Yeah.
great staff.
I did notice this morning on CBC radio, there was a number of fish closures on PEI over
Pretty
the
much
last,
everywhere,
yeah.
Not
But,
from here, not from
No,
Stratford.
not from here, exactly, and that's good for us. The second thing is water damage. We received a lot of water, trails, sidewalks. Do we have much damage there at all?
We just had a meeting this afternoon, actually, and there has been quite a bit of, runoff damage on the gravel trails.
Yeah.
The guys are trying to work on those, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's hard to manage that much water.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. Thank you.
That's my report, if there's no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Deputy Mayor. We'll now move to item number 14, Committee of the Whole. And we have a resolution, and I'll ask Councillor Gail McDonald, Chair of Finance, to present, to move that resolution.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Resolution number CW 010-2021, PEI School Food Program, Town Centre Kitchen Rental. Whereas the province has established a non-profit corporation to deliver the PEI School Food Program, and whereas the PEI School Food Program Incorporated will be providing a healthy, affordable meal option for all students and requires access to a commercial kitchen to prepare meals for the 2 Stratford schools and several Charlottetown schools. And whereas the PEI School Food Program Incorporated has asked for access to the Stratford Town Centre Kitchen at a discounted rate in order to keep the meal costs within budget. And whereas Section 5.7 of the Grants and Donations Bylaw enables Council to provide a fee rebate by resolution for any purpose that aligns with the town's objectives. Be it resolved that a discount of 50% of the rental fee be provided to the PEI School Food Program, Inc. for the use of the Town Centre Kitchen for the 2021-2022 school year. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole, as discussed at a meeting held on August 26, 2021. So moved.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Burridge. Okay, discussion.
This is great, working with the province and especially helping our kids not going to work, not going to school with an empty stomach. So it's really good. It's going to happen here. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we do have the capacity to do this, and it's
Yep.
it's something that well, the kitchen's not being used anyway, and it's for the most part.
Yep.
But it is a good management approach to make the best use of our resources and our capacity to help out the educational system. Okay, any other comments or discussion?
Yes, I have a question. Jeremy, did we find out if there's any updates needed for that kitchen before we go ahead with this?
They are putting in an additional dishwasher, and there are a few updates, but they're paying for those updates themselves, but they've already started on those, so that's great.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
So they're already using the kitchen?
No, they're just going ahead and getting the extra dishwasher and a few other amenities in there that they need for the program, so.
So it'll be starting soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carried. Okay, we'll now move on to sustainability. I'll ask Councillor Darren McDougall, Chair of Sustainability, to give his report.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we didn't meet this month. We instead chose to attend the presentation yesterday by the Gray Group. The committee did. And of course, I'm echoing everybody else's comments here about that presentation and what the Gray Group and that development is going to do for the town of Stratford. So I encourage anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to view that plan. It is available online, so through Facebook or whatnot, you can go and view that, and or attend their information session on September the 14th. And just some commentary on the Switch program that has been off and running. What an opportunity that has been for the residents of Stratford, and taking advantage of that opportunity. I've talked to so many people who are taking advantage of the program, and their comments is who came up with this, or where did it come from, and to have been involved in that. And again, I've said that Robert and Maddie, I think, really moved that one, and I've gotten so many comments. But anyway, it's been great for our community. So aside from that, Your Worship, if anybody has any questions in regard to sustainability, then feel free.
Any comments or questions? No, I think it's a really important area, and I think it's, this is another success story. I think it's really being well done by providing the atmosphere, the environment, I guess, for business to wish to locate here, and for the Gray Group to be able to come forward with their proposal. I think it's great that we have that, that we're attractive as a community to investment, to developers and people who want to invest their money. And also to make the community better. So that's great. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you for your report.
Great,
Councilor.
thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, next committee is Accountability and Engagement. I chair that committee. We didn't have a meeting in the summer, and I guess I have no report at this time, so we'll move to item 17, Human Resources. Anything to report there?
Nothing at this time, Your Worship, but there will be some meetings coming forward there.
Okay, thank you.
Next month.
Thank you. Item 18 is inquiries by members of council. Are there any inquiries about any item at all that any councillor would like to put forward at this time? Okay, if not, we'll go to other committees and Stratford Seniors Complex. I'll ask the chair of the Seniors Complex Committee to give his report, Deputy Mayor Clow.
Thank you, Your Worship. The annual inspection was completed in August of the seniors building. There is a unit coming available, but we have a waiting list to get in there. The draft budget for 2022 will be presented at the next seniors committee meeting, and other than that, everything is great at the seniors complex. So that's my report.
Thank you. Anything to report on appointments to committees? Any new appointments to any committees? No? Okay, proclamations. I have a couple of proclamations. First one is Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder, FASD Awareness Week, September 6th to 10th. Whereas fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, is a diagnostic term used to describe impacts on the brain and body of individuals prenatally exposed to alcohol. FASD is a lifelong disability. Individuals with FASD will experience some degree of challenges in their daily living and need support with motor skills, physical health, learning, memory, attention, communication, emotional regulation, and social skills to reach their full potential. Each individual with FASD is unique and has areas of both strengths and challenges. And whereas FASD NL is a pan-provincial organization that educates, provides supports, resources, and raises awareness about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder in Newfoundland and Labrador and in Atlantic Canada, and whereas FASD NL is leading a 3-year FASD prevention, awareness, training, and collaborative action project in the 4 Atlantic provinces. And whereas FASD Awareness Week is devoted to raising awareness of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder to improve prevention of FASD and diagnosis and support for individuals with FASD, and broad public awareness helps to put FASD on the map. Therefore, I, Mayor Steve Ogden, do hereby proclaim September 6th to 10th as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Awareness Week in the town of Stratford, Prince Edward Island. So in witness, I've set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Stratford to be fixed here too, and I've signed that the 8th of September. I'll be signing that tomorrow. Okay, the other proclamation I have is Energy Efficiency Day, the first Wednesday in October. Whereas improving energy efficiency is a clean and low-cost way to meet Stratford's needs, avoid pollution, and improve comfort and health while reducing energy bills for residents and businesses in our community. And whereas implementing energy efficiency and other clean energy policies and programs can help boost economic opportunities and job creation while continuing to move Stratford toward a sustainable future. And whereas a nationwide network of energy efficiency groups and partners has designated the first Wednesday in October as National Energy Efficiency Day. And whereas Stratford has recently launched the Switch program to enable residents to make energy efficiency upgrades to their homes while saving on energy costs. Therefore, I, Steve Ogden, Mayor of Stratford, do hereby proclaim the first Wednesday in October as Energy Efficiency Day in the town of Stratford, and urge citizens to join us in supporting our clean energy goals and moving toward more energy efficiency now and into the future. In witness thereof, I've set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Stratford to be fixed here too. So those are both proclamations. Okay, the next item is other business. Any other business that anyone would like to put on the table at this time? Anything that anyone would like to raise that we haven't discussed? No? If not, I will call for a motion for adjournment. Thank you. We're now adjourned. Thank you. Thank you all.